All right, welcome back to TheEndStep.com. This is Adam from Adam vs. James, and I'm here playing thing to play blue, but we'll see. Switching roles today, it seems. We did not plan that, but it worked out. So it's a Delver list. Starts off with Delver, Raptor, and then goes into Snapcaster and Geist of Saint Draft. And then it plays pretty much all the Selesnya token makers. So Selesnya Charm, Call of the Conclave, and Advent of the Worm. All of those trigger Cloud from Raptor quite nicely, and all of them are Snapcasterable. Then the rest of the package that basically is a push damage or protect with Simic Charm. Also can do with Selesnya Charm. Rootbound defenses, you can play tricks with that where you attack everybody into a unfavorable board state, but then you just have rootbound defenses and like populate a worm or your angel token from Geist of Saint Draft. And then Spell Rupture, because this deck is in that aggro control vein, so you want to be ahead, and this keeps you ahead because it can become a mana leak or a super mana leak if you have a worm token. And then a single Syncopate, 3 unsummons, and a singleton Runechanter's Pike, because we're pretty spell heavy as it is. And then we have a decent amount of flyers, so Runechanter's Pike on with the Cloud from Raptors. Even if it's a late game Cloud from Raptors, it's not too exciting, but all of a sudden it gets upgraded quite a bit with the Pike. I'd say the worst problem with this deck is the mana base, because you want blue on turn 1, and then you want Selesnya colors on turn 2. Unfortunately, there's not super efficient mana to do that, so we have 9 blue sources on turn 1. There's a singleton island, and the only reason we can't play more blue is because, as I said, you want Selesnya on turn 2, which if you play a bunch of islands, it's just not going to happen. So your ideal start is a breeding pool or a hallowed fountain to cast your 1-drops, and then the complementary green land after that, or blue land with a Glacial Fortress or a Sunpetal Grove. They don't have perfect mana from there. So it's a pretty interesting deck. I think it's pretty exciting. It's basically a take on a deck that's been doing pretty well on Magic Online. It comes up every now and then. It's not super popular, but when it does pretty well. And it was played recently at the Star City Games Open. And this is my version with a few tweaks. Not everybody was playing a Runechanter's Pike, which I think is decent in this deck, because your creatures aren't the best and they get outclassed. Your best creature is clearly the worm, so they get outclassed pretty quickly. And even just the first strike granting ability of the Pike allows you to attack in with a Geist of Saint Draft more easily. All right, we'll pause and take a look at the sideboard. All right, here we are with the sideboard for Bant Delver. So we got some negates and some spells to help the control decks. Also, negate is very good against Jund. Hits pretty much most of the relevant spells in their deck besides Olivia. We got some Voice of Resurgences as a good card against control, but then also blocks really well against any of the aggro decks, unless they have Pillar of Flame. And then we have some Unflinted Courage, which is an excellent card in this deck because we have hexproof guys, but then we also have the flyers with Delver and Cloud from Raptor, so you can just kind of get this like consistent life gain going and put your opponent on a serious clock. So it's nice in a race against an aggressive deck. Then we have 2 different additional populate cards to complement the rootbound defenses. So Sundering Growth is actually really playable right now because the Bant hexproof deck with all the enchantments is like one of the top decks, and this just totally blows them out because you get a worm or a centaur, or if you're in combat you get an angel at the same time while blowing up one of their relevant enchantments. And then the Druid's Deliverance is basically another card to help against any kind of deck where it's super aggressive and you're in some kind of race. Basically, it buys you a full turn because they're going to swing in, do a ton of damage, but you basically negate that. You upgrade your army by getting, again, another worm or a centaur or an angel. And then to finish it off, we have some Purify the Graves. We're not playing Rest in Peace because we are a Snapcaster deck with Runechanter's Pike, so Rest in Peace is pretty bad. We could sideboard out that plan, but I think it's too strong in this style deck to sideboard out that plan. So we'll go with Purify the Grave with this particular graveyard hate. That's about it. Hope we will do all right today.